What's up, guys? This is Nima, and I'm welcoming you to my new gaming channel. I love talking about video games. I spend so much of my time playing video games. It really helps me with anxiety, with the stresses of living, of being a fairly young father, full-time work, all of that. That's what I do. Is I like to get away from all that and just game for a little while. The thing is even though I love talking about gaming and I love watching other YouTubers, I'm not a great YouTuber, so to speak. I don't possess those skills, but I'm committed to learning them. So for the next couple months, this channel is going to be kind of rough, but I'm going to grow, and I hope you'll come with me on that journey. Right now, actually, my 6-year-old son is doing a lot of my graphics and things of that nature. But enough of that. I wanted to talk about a new game that came out from Bandai Konami, um, Scarlet Nexus. Now, Scarlet Nexus was a game that was really under my radar. I wasn't really that interested in it. It didn't seem like something that I would have really been into. It's a Final Fantasy, however you want to look at it. But something about the initial demo that came out for this game just made me, I don't know, I felt like it was too convoluted. The story would be too hard to follow. And maybe, and I hate to use this term, but maybe a little bit too anime for my liking. Yeah, like I said, I love most JRPGs, but actually, um, and in the sense that you care. Now, there are some stories that they're so complex, they're so hard to follow, that you kind of just stop caring why you're trying to save the world. You just know, oh, I got to do this thing, beat this guy to save the world. But this one's different. You can easily follow, and the character structure. Some of the characters are pretty atypical, but as they grow and the game continues, you really start to find a certain, I don't know, a genuine quality about each character that you actually invest your interest into. So as far as the story is concerned, it is actually really good. Possibly one of the better JRPG stories that I have played. And I'm not gonna say it's Persona 5 or, the likes of Final Fantasy 7 remake or anything like that, but it's above and beyond. So, if the story is a concern for you, don't let it be. It's really good. Um, gameplay. Gameplay is where this game shines. Uh, if you're a person who doesn't like the turn-based fighting in most RPGs and JRPGs, well, that's not a concern here. This game is high-paced, high action. I'll just say there's a moment where you control something as big as a train, and you use that against enemies. And this is also the way that they do it. I find very interesting because in a lot of games like that, you see fast paced, your character flying around the screen. There's a lot of combos going on. There's special moves you're using, uh, whatever superpower your character might have to, in this situation, it's telekinesis to throw big objects at your enemies. As you're watching, it can be a little intimidating. Like, well, how do I learn that? I don't know if I want to take the time to learn all that. That could be really difficult. But this game does a very, very good job, maybe the best job of blending that world. I'm a guy who, when I like to play an RPG or even just a regular action game, I try to save my power, my mana, whatever. And this, it prompts you to use it a lot, and you end up just using your powers over and over again. It's the only way you'll survive, actually. Um, and you just gain it right back. It's not like something that you have to be um, fearful that, oh, I'm going to get into a boss fight, so I don't want to use all of my resources. It's not a worry, but it does really walk you through, and to honestly, the way it's set up kind of makes you feel like you're a badass. I would say if you're even just a fan of action games and you're low on games right now, this is a good game to play. Even if you're not the RPG, JRPG, hey, just forget the story. Um, the side quests, things like that. This was another thing I really liked about the game because something that has been lacking for me since like Persona 5 has been the characters, the side characters, the interactions you have with them. This one has these like what they call bond episodes, and so you talk to other members of your team, and some of them it's you're going out on a fight, some you're just spending some time with them, but you kind of get this whole depth behind their character and that relationship that you have with them. It really, on top of all of that, also helps because you discover more moves and things like that that you can do with them while on the battlefield. So, it's kind of two in one. You're not just wasting your time. If you don't care about the characters in the game, it's still a good thing to do because you get extra moves that would be locked behind that kind of Bond episode situation. Um, graphics are really good. I personally the massive amount of neon is a little bit of a turnoff for me, but it's really not overdone as much as what it kind of looks like it is. The graphics are really, really good. The frame rate is great. I mean, the one thing I will say, and this is not on this game at all, I actually tried to buy this game for the PlayStation 5, and I couldn't because the PlayStation Store said I already owned it somehow. Not in my library, looked in my account, didn't spend $60 at the PlayStation Store. I don't know. I tried restarting my PlayStation like 3 or 4 times, and that buggy mess just would not let me purchase it. So I ended up buying it on the Series S, and it plays really great there. I have no complaints at all. The sound also really good. Actually, the music score is really, really impressive as well. If I was to rate this game, I would easily give it an 8 out of 10 right now. And I'm really hard on video games, I'll be honest. It, to earn a 10 or a 9 from me is very difficult. But I just, with all the games that have came out recently, um, especially just this year, I would say this one might be the best. And I know some of you are like, Nima, what about Monster Hunter Rise? What about Resident Evil, Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, look, I Ratchet and Clank is great. Not my kind of style of game. I've been playing it because it's new, it looks pretty, and and I like the the fun of a Ratchet and Clank game. But I'm not a huge platformer kind of guy. And a lot of that game is platforming and shooting, and it's more reminiscent of like an older style game. And I do, like I said, I enjoy it, but I wouldn't give it, you know, an 8 out of 10. I would give it maybe a 6 or a 7. Um, Monster Hunter Rise, which I think is really, really fun, especially if you have friends. I don't have friends. I'm a, I'm a guy in my early 30s who has 2 kids. I don't have time for friends. Uh, Even without that, it's a game that's about 8 to 10 hours long. So yeah, you're paying top dollar for 8 to 10 hours. I know they're coming out with DLC. I know they're going to add stuff, but for me, it, it it's not as good. I would rather invest if I had $60 to spend, and that was it. I would this would be the game I would buy without a doubt. Out of all the ones that have come out this year so far, we all know Resident Evil Village was, you know, 10 10 hours long, 8 hours long, something like that. Um, But yeah, I would say if you're looking for a game, don't let this one fly under your radar, especially if you're a JRPG fan. We really haven't had a lot to be excited for this year, and E3 and everything else hasn't looked that great for JRPGs either. I know if you dig down, you're gonna find some more. We got Project Triangle coming up. We got I think Ascent is a game that's coming out. There's some. We did get that Final Fantasy VII episode, which was an amazing 5 hours, but It was 5 hours. This this though I recommend wholeheartedly. It's a great, great game. But I'd love your opinion of it. If you've been playing it, what have you thought about it? I'll be honest, I'm only about 20 hours into it. So maybe this isn't a full review like I should do, but I did want to get something out there. I want to talked about, people who are thinking about getting it and were on the fence. Um, Kind of want to, give you a nudge for that because this is one of those games that I think if it flies under the radar too much and people don't buy it, they won't make a second one. And this company is really, really going in a great direction for this genre and for the gameplay in general. Some of the button prompts and things like that are so impressive that it really does make you feel like you are this all-powerful super soldier, so to speak. Um, like I said, it's great. But again, I want to hear what your thoughts are. What have you been playing it? How that's been going? Or any gaming things you want to talk about. I'm always down to talk about gaming. Um, you can find me on Twitter at JCShowVIP or just comment below. And I'd love to talk about anything. I think next I'm going to be reviewing Mario Golf, the Super Rush Golf. Um, Again, official trailer, whatever. But that'll probably be coming out here in the next couple of days. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Have a great day. Take care.